Everyone, I'm G, co-founder here at Maverick and Ylopo. Extremely excited to share all the new developments that we've made here. And we've got Brady, who actually makes all of this happen. Brady, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. Brady, lead product manager here with MaverickRE.
Awesome. Man, a few words. Gabe, so Gabe, you guys all know Gabe, obviously. Gabe's been part of the Ylopo team for a very long time. But Gabe has taken on a new role, an additive role here at Ylopo. Gabe is now leading the Maverick organization. We're really excited for him to step into this role because, in his, side hustle, if you will, he is also one of the leaders and executives at the Robert Slack organization. And even prior to that, Gabe has always run mega teams himself. And this is a product really for teams by teams, right? And so we need to have someone in place here who is the absolute voice of customer. And we have tabbed Gabe for that effort. And so we're really excited. Gabe, any words?
Yeah, I do like how you corrected yourself and said additive on there. So for those, we know we also have a lot of white local people on here still working in there somewhat, but really, shifting most of the time over to Maverick. And I am really excited. It's something that we started up here a while ago. It's been doing a lot of great things. It's growing and growing, but hasn't had as much maybe dedicated attention as it could. And what we're going to get into later as we became or as we moved everything over to Robert Slack, all of our teams and all that, and started doing more within the whole Zillow community and understanding what those metrics and requirements were. It was awesome getting to understand how we're going to use this and build this to help really grow our teams, but stay at the top and in the green. Those of you that are on Zillow, you know what I'm talking about, but stay in the green with Zillow to grow that business. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'll kind of share those stories as we go down. But yeah, super excited to be working with everybody and spending a lot of time dedicated inside Maverick.
Awesome, awesome. So, everyone who's on this webinar, we invited you specifically to this webinar because we looked at the data and we saw that you guys are getting Zillow leads, right? And, we have added a ton of new features specifically to help our Zillow clients. Just to give you some perspective, I mean, I think Brady, it was something like 90 Maverick teams that are on the Maverick platform are Zillow users, right? Or Zillow lead consumers, right? And so that's a huge percentage. And I believe something like 70 of those 90 are actually flex teams, right? And so, in the world of flex, I think Flex has 900 teams. So we're like closing in on 10% of all Flex teams are Maverick users, right? And so this is one of the reasons that we have focused on Maverick and its Zillow use case, especially since Maverick is only available for Follow Up Boss. We are seeing more and more Zillow teams migrate to Follow Up Boss, migrate to Ylopo, and of course, migrate to Maverick, right? And so you're going to see a lot of these features that we purposely built for this community on the webinar. Let me just say, framing wise, for all of you that don't know what Maverick is, we call it a sales manager in a box, right? And the reason we do that, just kind of origin stories, is that at Ylopo, we have been generating leads for forever, right? I've been generating leads across a 15-year career now. And invariably, when a team is unsuccessful, right, we talk to them and they say, your leads suck, right? And then we go into look at their processes and we say, your processes suck, and we would go to our top clients like Gabe, like Robert Slack, like Gary Ashton, et cetera, and say, how are you successful, right? And we've created a whole playbook around how to be successful from an operations perspective as a team. And when we handed this script book to the folks that are underperforming, we said, give us 90 days, implement this, you're going to be successful, right? And invariably, none of them implemented, right? And so at a certain point, we said, can we turn these best practices into software? And that is the birthplace of Maverick, right? Can we take the sales manager role and make it automated as much as possible, right? And so the three components of what we think a good sales manager does is one, they track analytics. They understand exactly what's going on with your team. The second is they coach up and they monitor your agent's sales skills, right? And the third is we make the job of the agent as easy as possible by creating workflows for them of who are the most important leads they should talk to on a daily basis, and what do they say to those leads, right? So we're not going to go over the entire suite of Maverick here. That's a different presentation. What we're going to show you is 10-15% of what the overall Maverick platform does. But just wanted you guys to be aware of the mission of Maverick as we go into these specific Zillow features.
Yeah, and for those who all said yes too, just want to make sure this is in your accounts now. We've sent out a fair amount of communication, but we're going through something that's in your account now. I want to make sure you guys know what's there and how to use it so that you're getting the benefits of it right now.
100%. Yeah. For all of our Maverick clients, everything you see here is fully rolled out. And so consider this a kickoff call. And we're going to go over all of these features with you. So at the highest level, we're going to start with sales skills, right? We have at this point analyzed over 500,000 sales skills of our clients. And this number is probably way higher than that at this point. And we actually backdated these sales skills to conversions, right? So we graded every sales call on a 1 to 10 scale. And we looked at it and said, do 10s translate to closings? Do one translate to closings, right? And the correlation we saw was that if you were in the top 25% of graded calls, that's a 7 to a 10, you outperform a salesperson that's scoring a 5 by 2x, right? And so you can imagine how much these people outplay someone who is a 1 or a 2 or 3, right? And so this is pretty intuitive, everyone. I'm not saying anything new. If you have better sales skills, you are going to sell more, right? And all of our sales grading, et cetera, is backdated to conversions, right? Gabe, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah. So, what you were just showing is true, but it comes down to also analyzing the calls and putting the time in to do all that, right? So we know as team leads, I'm going to start there, right? We're wearing a lot of hats. Not all of us have a actual sales manager on our team doing this. So a lot of times this time comes to being the team lead or the broker, also handling the one-on-ones, handling the role playing with all of our sales people, listening to those calls to get the notes to figure out what's going on, creating training manuals, script books, looking for recommendations on what should be covered while you're still in the trenches. So you're like training while on the job. And it takes time to do this, especially when it comes to Zillow ALM reports. That's one of the main metrics right now that we're getting scored on when we get that weekly report, right? So I am curious. I wanted to tag in people here, make sure we're not multitasking too much. I'd love to know. Wait, back up one. I want to know right now, if you guys can. I'm curious. How much time are you guys currently spending role playing ALM? Right, role playing ALM. So jump into chat. How many hours a week? When you have, whether it's new agents or when you get that report back, how much time are you guys spending? And I'll just assume what I think is happening. If you're not putting a number in chat, that's probably because we're not spending any time or enough time role playing ALM. I love it. Millie's honest. She was the first one to be honest. We got a couple. Tara, 3 to 4 hours a week. All right, guys, we need to be doing this, but let's face it, when I was a team lead, I've done this a lot. My least favorite thing to do is dedicated role-playing time. I know I should be doing it weekly. Each coach is different because then it's not just role-playing. Then it's on me to now critique everything that Brady just said and coach him on what he went wrong and doing all that. And this does need to be a weekly thing that we're doing. So if you go to that next slide, what I wanted to break down a little bit too, because I like seeing real numbers on what's going on, right? So what's the value of being a sales manager or the duties of a sales manager, right? So doing some research right now, on average, and I think somebody hit this, Michael, love you, man. 3 to 5 hours a week is really what most coaches or organizations say that we should be doing for role playing, right? And then in addition, I want to break this down, but also then reviewing the call. So we do the role playing to learn and craft our skill, but now we also need to inspect what we expect. So that is now spending 2 to 4 hours a week reviewing calls and what we're doing it. I'll admit it, I'll be right there. I wasn't doing it near as much as what I should be doing it. I don't think all of the team leads out there, if we're being honest with ourselves, are putting the time in. I saw some of the zeros in there getting this done. We know there's value there, right? So according to Indeed, our average sales manager is at 90K. Bureau of Labor Statistics a bit higher at 135. I'll use the lower number, but just that 7 hours a week that we should be doing role playing and reviewing calls, you're looking at on average $1,200 a month for the duties on that. Let's say you can get a sales manager at half that. You're still looking $600 to $700 a month on the jobs that you don't want to be doing. You probably like the least amount, but we know is critical. And Zillow specifically for ALM, this is one of our metrics that we've got to get up and maintain and continue going. So just want to make sure that we're looking because our time is not free. If you're a team lead doing this, you don't need to throw it in chat, but you know that your dollar per hour worth is a hell of a lot more than $43 an hour. And this work needs to get done. And that's why we wanted to focus very much in the call review role playing area today, specific to Zillow and how this is going to help you grow and scale your leads up and get more closings.
Awesome. Awesome. So, if any of you have context for Maverick, right, one of our key features is what we call our sales coach, right? And what the sales coach does is your agents can go into the Maverick portal and they can choose a scenario that they role play with AI, right? And so instead of you spending all of this time, role playing with your agents or having them have role playing partners, whatever is the case, they're going to have a role play with AI and have a objective conversation and grading of that role play session once it's done, right? And so the innovation here is we actually built a Zillow ALM focused sales coach, right? And so this is a ALM or a sales coach specifically built for Zillow and Zillow Flex teams to have these type of conversations, right? So let me play you an audio. I'm not going to play all of it. Example of how a role play session will work.
Hi, this is Priya.
Hey, Priya, this is Brady. I'm an agent with the Barry Jenkins Group. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brady. I'm doing well, thank you. I was just on another call, but I'm really interested in touring 9102 Cedar Lane.
Got it. Yeah, I'd be happy to set that up for you. What's your availability over the next couple of days here?
Great. I'm generally available on weekday mornings or Sunday afternoons. I can try to make any time work in the next 3 days.
Could we do tomorrow, which would be Wednesday the 12th at 8:30 a.m.?
Yes, that works perfectly for me. I'll see you then.
Oh, before you go, can I just ask, are you just interested in that neighborhood? Are there other locations, other neighborhoods that you're looking at for property?
I'm open to other neighborhoods as well, but I'm mainly looking for a family-friendly area near parks and schools.
Got it. Okay, and are you mainly looking?
So you can see here, Brady, who has been kind enough to do this demo video, is going through all of the practices around ALM in this practice role play, right? And so our objective is that your agents are practicing these conversations all the time, right? And that we can provide them feedback on these, which we'll talk about in a second. Anything else to add here, Brady and Gabe?
It's just about building the muscle, getting the reps in. I mean, again, we have agents who have been agents for a long time. Before they have to go put themselves on ready for transfer, or just first thing in the morning, they'll just go and do a couple of these reps, just get into the mind space for it, and then they're able to take those calls much more effectively. And these are not the only scenarios that we have, right? Portal is just one of many. And so, again, maybe they do some warm-ups in the morning where they do a couple of different scenarios, just kind of get that flexibility and go through a couple of these scenarios, and then they're ready to go for the rest of the day. We also have some folks who, when they get new agents on, before they even hand them any leads, team leads, or even otherwise, they have them go through and hit a certain level of quality with these calls before they get on team leads or actually start to transact. So, yeah.
Yeah, and once you get past the next one, G, I actually will probably take over screen. I want to show everybody. Slides are great, but I want to jump in and actually in Maverick, because we got a lot of our Maverick clients on here, exactly where you're clicking to see this and find this, how easy it is.
100%. Yeah. So the output of this call, and this is really important, right? Because you can go into ChatGPT, if you guys use GPT, and write in a prompt and say, hey, give me a role-playing call and I'll talk to the bot, right? This is not, this is something that you can do in a lot of different channels. What is unique about the Maverick sales coach is that we have fine-tuned a model that tells you where you succeeded and where you failed, right? And give you real-time feedback into how you improve, right? So at the end of every call, the agent's going to have a text message that tells them exactly what their grade was, coaching notes, and improvement tips, and so on and so forth. right? So this is a really important part of the process. So Gabe, I'll give you screen share.
Yeah, perfect. So, want to show you guys because a lot of you have access to this right now. I want to make sure you know exactly you're going. So, can you guys see my Maverick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this whole section, right, is all your coaching sections. So, like Brady mentioned, there's a lot of different scenarios in here. You'll see there's a couple different categories on here. So, if you're wanting to practice, if it's PPC, internet sellers, buyers, whatever that is. But then we've added in this portal scenario because we know those of us on Flex, on Zillow Premier, most of these do go to appointment. As you heard on that example, Brady could have set that appointment right off the bat, but we know Zillow is also scoring us on the L and the M. So, we're able to create these custom AI coaches to go in and do that grading. So when I go in there, I can come in, I can choose month to date. I don't want to grade the calls out of FUB, even though I can. I can go look through all the calls and follow a boss if you got the call recording turning on, that it's recording for you. But for the purposes, I want to go in and I want to see the AI coaching calls where we're calling in and role playing. So I can quickly see which agents are calling in, when did they call, what grade did they score. All right. Now we have our default scoring for this, but what's key here is, hey, you know what? I've come in. I don't really care about some of this, right? Our default coaching cares a little bit about rapport, it cares about timelines, things that are important, but not important to Zillow and for ALM. We know that they're scoring us on 3 different things. So we've created a custom Zillow ALM. And if you noticed, I'll toggle it back here, that with those changed. A lot of these were 7s, 8s, 9s, maybe because they didn't ask for timelines. But when I say, hey, use the Zillow ALM coaching, now I can see who's coming in, right? Who's scoring in here, what's going on. And what I'll normally see is as they're coming through, you'll see some 5s, some 8s in there. I'm looking, hey, Nathan, once you're able to call in and score 15, 20, 10s, whatever it is that your standards are as a team lead, now you know when to put Nathan into rotation for those flex calls. When we get that report back, all right, we all know about the report we get where we're in the yellow or red or green. Hopefully most of you are, but you've got that team number. But then when you go to the individuals, you might have people pulling you down. This is where you might start throwing some of those agents in that aren't scoring as high to get them coached back up. So this is for new agents coming on that you're maybe putting into flex or those that are currently on there that just haven't been following ALM that might be bringing those scores down, that's affecting your lead flow or getting you to that point where, you might lose those leads, right? We need to protect these as much as possible.
Gabe, 2 really cool things I want to highlight that came to me while you were talking. So number one, if you go back to the numbers page very quickly, you were showing the different scenarios there. You can see right here, there's only 3 numbers, but what you actually get when you dial that is a different scenario every time. So when you dial that one number, it rotates who you're speaking to, what property they want to see, if you're doing internet lead, what objections that they have. So I think at this point, there's over 100 different personalities. And within each of those personalities, there's like 16 unique objections that change every time you call. So you're always kept on your toes. It's almost never the same thing twice.
Yep.
You may hear the same person. It may be you're talking to Timothy back to back, but Timothy's going to share different objections both times that you call. So that's one. And then 2
Real
here.
quick, I want to say that because I know my audience here. Those of you that took a screenshot or wrote these numbers down, don't call those. We have a number for you to practice this. Those ones are specific to us. It's not going to get you what you want to test this out. We do have a test number for you guys. So sorry, I just want to do that because I know people are screenshotting that and probably dialing in right now. Like, wait a second, I'm not getting a report.
And so the other thing to call out here very quickly, Gabe created this Zillow ALM rubric, but this custom grading feature is totally open-ended. So we have a whole number of data points that you can choose from. You can do this per source, per team, per agent. It's incredibly customizable. You can set it up however you want, change the score exactly the way that makes sense for your team, for your different lead sources. So this is a very open-ended, totally customizable system. The one that Gabe built is just purpose-built for Zillow ALM.
Yep. Yeah. And what I was talking about too is now once I'm in here, I pull these up, I can see who's making the phone call. So if I'm sitting down with Nicole, for example, we're going through trying to understand or coach up what's going on. It's not me deciphering what she said and did it hit. I can literally just say, why'd she score a 5, right? I can figure out and look at this right here. Appointment, not asked. In my rubric, and again, you guys can adjust this. but getting the appointment is worth 50% of the score right there, right? So I know the reason she's a 5 instead of a 10, just didn't ask for the appointment, right? She got the motivation, she got the location, it's in here at the motivation. I just didn't get the appointment. So it allows you to have AI scrub everything out, give you summaries, give you coaching tips without you having to do it. You're just reviewing the data based on what was going on. It's on them to call. She can call from her car. She can call from home. She can hide inside the closet and close the door if she doesn't want to, right? Anywhere they want to. So it's not on you trying to coordinate that to get those calls in. So just want to make sure you could see how quick and easy it is to change this. And as Brady said, I can change this between Zillow. If I want to make one that's very similar, like for realtor.com, for example, but I want to throw in rapport building, I could throw in different, and I'll just show you really quick. And we'll move on. I can just go in literally to wherever these custom coaches. Brady keeps saying the R word, which he's not supposed to say. Rubric.
Rubrics.
Rubric is just going in and adjusting what it is. So, for example, maybe you don't like how I did ALM exactly. You could literally come in here and say, hey, you know what? I don't want motivation to be quite 20%, 25%. I want to bring it down to 20. And I want to give rapport building a little bit more. I want to give it 5%. Whoops, sorry, I didn't make this one 20. So I want to bring this one down. All right, and I can bring it, and now all of a sudden it's saying, okay, perfect, you're at a perfect 100%. You can come in based on all this criteria and make any coaching. So ALM, there's a lot of options in here if you want to start tweaking this and making different versions. It's up to you how you want to score these custom coaches to score the calls, whether they're scoring them from the recordings in Follow Boss or the practice numbers that they're calling it. All right,
Awesome. Love it. Okay, back to the press. So the punchline here is we've analyzed, as you guys can imagine, tens of thousands of AI sales coaching calls. And what we found is that after only 30 days of using the sales coach, we see a dramatic increase in the quality of conversations that are happening, right? And I won't read all these metrics, but the one that's really important is that their overall call quality increases by 22% in the first month. That means we're taking someone who was converting at 4%, they're converting at 5% now, right? Think about that at scale, how much money that is from a revenue perspective, right? And so sales coach, extremely effective. Now, having the sales coach is fantastic, but you want to see that data actually carry through to how the agents are performing in real life, right? And that's where the next step we bring, the platform brings is AI call grading. Brady, Gabe, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. Yeah, Gabe and I already nerded out a little bit and showed a little bit of what was going on the grading side. So the punchline here is just that the same exact grading process that you just saw for the AI coaching calls are applied to your calls from Follow Up Boss recordings. Gabe mentioned it earlier. We saw on that rubric builder, there's like over 20 different data points, all of which are highly real estate specific that you can then customize and pick how exactly that you want to grade those calls, but be they real calls or AI coach calls. You can even change the AI coach call grading can be one way for a single source, let's say Zillow, or for realtor.com leads or whatever other sources. And then you want the real calls to be graded slightly differently that you can do as well through that custom grading builder. So that you can make data-driven decisions and have data-driven conversations with your agents. So when you sit down for those one-on-ones, you can just say, hey, look, man, that appointment set rate on your AI coaching calls, you're getting 70, 80%. That's great. What's going on when you get on the real calls with the clients? Why are we only at 30? What can we do to help you to translate what you're doing correctly on the coaching calls into your real calls? So you can track every step of the funnel with your agents for every single source that they work and every single call that they make.
Yeah, I'm gonna that works fantastic. Or start leveraging somebody else. We all have the agent on our team that's just killing it on Flex. We've got a couple that just aren't quite there. Now all of a sudden I can compare one set of calls versus the other. Well, okay, perfect. Let's go look at Susie's calls. Look, ALM score is up here. They're asking for the appointment every single time, or this is what they're doing. Let's pull up yours. Now you're just comparing real data to real data. And the key here is you're not going in and having to scour and listen to these phone calls and count phone calls. All of the data is there. It's not you critiquing it. It is black and white in this. at a click of a button, and it's you just showing them the difference between what they're doing versus somebody else. And it could be the opposite, right? It might be that one-on-one's like, holy crap, you're at the top of the team. Look at this. Here are your numbers. Here's what's going on. Everything's in there, and you're not having to go dig and find it and listen to it. Massive time saver.
100%. Well, we have a recording here that we found that demonstrates the power of AI grading, but you guys have seen so much of this. I think we can skip ahead. Suffice to say, doing well or poorly, you're going to be able to see all of the data for each of your teams. And by the way, this is all accessible at the team level, obviously, but it's also accessible at the agent level, right? So the agent will have a way to go into their system, reminded through emails to check all of the recordings, to see where they grade and exactly where they stand as well. So
we back up one.
Yeah.
So this is also the number. So if you guys want to try this out, this is the phone number.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. This is what you're going to want to call. A little bit different experience than if you were in Maverick. But for those of you not in Maverick, you want to try this out and have a phone number to call to then get a report sent to you and kind of role play. Brady, this is on the portal, ALM, more Zillow type. You're not going to get a lot of objections on here, but it is going to evaluate and make sure you went for all three, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So don't expect this to throw a bunch of objections at you. Those of us on Zillow, we know that that's not real world. So we want to make this real for you. There are plenty of other numbers if you want to have them throw a couple little, curveballs at you that you can do and still have it. But we wanted to give you guys the most common Zillow Flex phone call that you would normally get. And once you hang up, you should receive, I think it's a text message on this, right? Because we don't have you in the system to send you, but it'll text you your score with a link to view your score and all that.
So make sure you're calling from a cell phone so that you can actually get that text.
Good call.
That's right.
You're off the phone.
Yeah. And we will send a follow-up email, and I posted in the chat as well, the phone number. We will send a follow-up email with this too, giving you a little more color, encourage you to share with your team, try it out. This number is going to work for the next week. And, love to give you a taste of kind of what this type of system can do. Awesome. Appointment tracking.
All right. I'm going to jump in here. So ALM's fantastic. I love how much time this is saving for those of us that are zeros, not putting the time in role playing or listening to the calls, which I think is actually even the more brutal part of going back and listening through it, making notes for your one-on-ones. But all right, we're all spending a lot of money on these leads, whether we're buying them on Premier or in referral fees. I love that they're low funnel and all that, and we're getting most appointments. But here's one of the things that I started noticing with our teams, as well as some other huge teams across the country that I've literally sat down with over the last couple months, face-to-face, some on Zoom, but most of these are face-to-face. And here's another area where I'm loving Maverick. And this is a big initiative that I'm doing with Slack, kind of being in charge of almost 2 million leads in the database, a lot of portal leads coming through, but managing what is happening with the appointments we're setting. All right. We're role playing and we're learning what we're saying to set more appointments and keep those scores up. But we also have metrics on conversion. Now, if we convert at the metrics that Zillow wants, that's great. But we're leaving a ton on the table. And there's some built-in things in Maverick that I'm just obsessed with that's helping us. Appointments. All right. I'm going to start there. You see a screenshot and I'll jump into mine live here in a second. But the amount of appointments we're setting with Flex, Realtor.com, all of those is fantastic. What I'm seeing sitting down with these teams is a little unnerving. We saw it on ours and these teams I sat down with, how many of these appointments either aren't held or don't have an outcome at all. Now, some of those may have been met, but if we're not moving these bottom of funnel leads through and monitoring at the appointment going forward what is happening, I don't want to say what happens above that isn't important, but we can't lose them at the bottom, right? We all have heard speed to lead and we're pounding the phones and getting these appointments set and doing all this. But if we're not updating the appointments to whether we met them or if they had to reschedule or if it wasn't right, getting them to that next step, we're losing people at the bottom of funnel over and over and over. Maverick is not only monitoring right out of Follow Up Boss. Every appointment that is set in Follow Up Boss, it's automatically pulling it in, putting eyes on it, and it's putting it right in front of you, the team lead. Was it held? Was it not held? Was there no outcome at all to move it through the funnel? All of that is built in so that if we're keeping these ALM scores up, we're now getting them to contract and to closing. All right. Yeah, let me share real quick. So I just want to show you, that was a screenshot of it. Want to just share real quick how I'm monitoring these and looking, and this is a big area of improvement for us to work on. So I'm just going to do month to date, for example. Let's keep flex. This number is moving for us, and I'm going to show you a tool how we're getting this number better. But I want to bring this in and show just on these flex leads, guys. And if your numbers, if you look at these numbers in your account, man, if you're on this webinar right now, all right, and you already have Maverick, come into the sales report, click on appointments report, do month to date, do year to date, pick one for me. I'd love for you guys to be vulnerable for a moment and show me what these numbers are. So maybe pick year to date, for example, if you don't have a lot of appointments, or month, whatever it is, put in Zillow Flex and hit run report. I would love to see the numbers. I'm being vulnerable here. This is an area we know that the agents aren't updating their appointments enough. I know a lot of these were held, all right, but I don't want to have to go digging for this. I also know a lot were not. So I can see out of 189, 181 don't have outcomes right now. Makes my head want to explode. All right, but I need to see them easily. I can literally now just zero in on exactly who those are. Or if I want to come in and figure out who are the two that just didn't show, right? They canceled. If I want to dig in a little bit deeper and find out, okay, well, what's going on? Has the agent, I'm going to log in, has the agent done their thing to now get them back on the report? All I did, if you notice, was just click on their name, and it's going to pull this person up in Follow Up Boss so I can see what's going on. Has anything been done? I can see the agents bringing it back up. Guys, if we are not managing and watching these appointments, figuring out what's happening with them, we are losing a ton of money. All right. And I don't know if anybody threw in chat, but guys, right here under sales reports, all I did is go to appointments report, put in a time frame. You can do this by source. You can do it by everything. You can do it by a single agent if you're doing a one-on-one. If I want to see, if I see a name over here and I just want to put in that one agent, I can see just theirs, right? So Rivera, so we're doing a one-on-one. Let's not make it. All right, perfect. Alex, love it. All right. So far this month, you've got 6 appointments. Hey, what's going on? We've got 5 that don't have outcomes. Oh, I was busy. I was this, I was that. We've got to be able to notify them. All right. There's another tool in here that we can come in, rules and alerts, right? This is just its whole own section in here. We break it into different sections for you. But one of the things we help you monitor is outstanding appointments. All right. I can come in here, look at the details of these outstanding appointments. If I want to manage all of them that are in here, I just click a button. It's going to load them. I can select them all, nudge the agent if I want to, saying, hey, I need an update on the outstanding appointments for this. If they're not doing it, I can reassign them if I need to, but everything's at your fingertips, so you're not having to go one by one in here and find all these. All right. Now, if you want to go back into the deck, another thing that I love, one of the tools in Maverick that we're using to get ours under control, right? We need to, is I get it. The agents are super busy when they're on these appointments. Sometimes, especially us Zillow agents, we're going from appointment to appointment. Is our post-appointment SMS. Do you want to chat about it, Brady?
Yeah. So right when that appointment is scheduled, again, we look at the time, we send an automatic text saying, hey, saw that you had this appointment, should have already occurred at this point. So can we get an update here? And you guys configure this. You can basically have it say whatever stages that you want it to say based on your follow-up boss. And then they basically will text back an update that will automatically fix it in follow-up boss and then update the appropriate report. So now, I mean, you're right there in the meeting. You just had it. You know exactly what happened, and you're getting that text to then make sure that that status is appropriately set. So very, very easy, instantaneous to make sure that you're getting that no outcome number down and making sure that you're tracking those rescheduled, canceled, and mets.
Yeah, and all that is completely pulled. So Flex teams, Zillow teams that are on here, right? You've got all your stages and everything set up and your appointment types that map to your stages. So after the appointment, it's sending them the text. Hey, Brady, did you meet with Howard Tager? And then press 1 for met, mess 2 canceled, whatever it is, you map those. And then it says after you're done, would you like to update the stage from appointment set? 1 for met with, 2 nurture, under writing, submitting offers, whatever it is, it has all of those Zillow stages in there. so that you don't have to have something different than what's in Follow Boss. It all maps over exactly. They get a text. They just enter in a couple numbers. That appointment's been updated. The stage has been updated. It asks if they want to leave any notes. The notes are on there. All of that is 100% configured exactly to your Follow-Up Boss, and updates the appointment in Follow-Up Boss and adds notes and updates the stage. And then that syncs with Zillow. So everything stays in check. Again, helping you ensure that all those metrics, even some of these outside of ALM, are getting updated automatically for you.
Awesome. Well, we wanted to keep this webinar brief, and it was not brief, but we still went pretty fast. So, again, encourage you guys to see a full demo of the platform to see all of its features. We'll talk about that in a second. But for all of you current Maverick users, we are having a special mastermind before our Charleston conference in April. Right. So, Gabe, do you want to talk about this mastermind?
Yeah. So the Wailopo Summit is the 23rd and 24th in Charleston. The day prior, we've got, I think it's just 3 hours. We know a lot of people are flying in the day prior, obviously. We want to do a mastermind for all the current people. This is not sit down and we have classes and all that set up. Brady and I want to invite, it's a smaller room. We've already got it set up, about 25 of our users, to mastermind. What are you using that you like and that's working? What are you not using that you should be? And it's really a collaboration and a true mastermind of just Maverick users, having Brady and I there to help go deep in any areas, but to just share our wins and what we're doing. Because we know everybody's using probably a different part of Maverick, and it may just, spark something that just gets you using a different part of it that somebody isn't. So it helps us all learn together. There's no cost to this. We just want to make sure everybody is aware. If you are a current Maverick user, we'd love for you to get signed up for that. Just scan this QR code. Let us know. It's a first come, first serve. We want to make sure and get that room full. And again, it'll be myself, Brady, a couple others will be there, and then just Maverick users, just sharing best practices of what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, we have a even more special offer than that for all the people who are attending. So if you want to demo Wailopo, QR code on the right-hand side, or you can go to MaverickRE.com and request a demo there. But for all of you guys who are attending, especially all of our Zillow clients, we really want you at Summit. You're going to get so much value from this. And there's so many things we're going to talk to specifically for portal clients that we're releasing, both on the Maverick and Wailopo side. So if you're attending this webinar today, if you come to the conference, we're going to give you a free ticket, right? That's it. No strings attached, free ticket, right? We need you to let us know you're actually coming. So we want to see a screenshot of your plane ticket or your hotel reservation so we know you're coming, because there's limited spots. We don't want to give out a ticket if you're not going to come. But if you do, we're going to give you a free ticket, right? And this applies to current Maverick clients as well, right? If you already bought a ticket, then, we'll refund you. If you haven't bought a ticket, show us that you're coming. We're going to give you a free ticket, right? We think this is important enough for all of you guys to show up and come. So request a demo and we will get you a ticket to Summit. And, you're going to double up the learnings, right? You're going to see everything on the demo, and then you're going to come to an action-packed 2-day conference where we break everything down for you.
Yeah, and I want to make sure. I mean, G said it, and I typed it into chat. Existing Maverick, same for you, right? Let us know. And again, we are asking, just send us your flight itinerary. We want to make sure, because we don't want to have a bunch of empty seats there because we gave out tickets. So let us know that you've booked flights coming into Charleston, or if you're local, let us know. We'll get you a ticket to come to the Summit event. The existing Maverick, if you can get in early enough to attend the mastermind, that'd be fantastic. But we want to make sure you guys are getting there. Everything is going to be very mastermind for the mastermind itself, but then a lot of hands-on for the Summit event to follow. And if there's questions too, we got a little bit of time here that we blocked. If you guys have questions, especially the existing Maverick, or even if you're not quite yet, questions about the system, we can answer some of those now. The non-existing Maverick clients, if you want to learn more, this QR code in front of you right now is the best place to go.
Yeah. And we have a killer introductory, kind of trial offer for all of you guys to try out Maverick as well. But we'll be following up with everyone that's attended here as well in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we'll start with the folks that are requesting a demo just to answer any other questions about Maverick. Encourage all of you guys to attend Summit, and this is the way to do that.
Yeah. Those of you that have not used the AI custom coaches yet, gone in there and created any of that, we've thrown an example of an ALM one there in there for you. I believe, Brady, right? Everybody should have, I think, the one that can grade your Zillow calls that are already in Follow Up Boss. So if you've not done that, go click into that drop down under AI calling, create that one for the AI coach. Super easy to do, or reach out to your CSM here at Maverick. We'd be happy to jump on a call with you and get that going. So it's super easy. It's released. It's in your data or in your Maverick right now and ready to be used. I think we did it, Steve.
Awesome.
Anything else? You guys
I'm good. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Appreciate it. Bye.
All right.